How's it going? You guys doing okay? Well, great. This is Royal with Talk Soul Central RTV Style. And tonight we have a fabulous show. We got a show where you guys are going to get some information on issues of divorce. The part about the money. Who gets the money, where it goes, where the house goes, who gets the car, and who gets the dog, and all of that. Well, some of that, not totally. But I have my wonderful friend that's here. Her name is Amy, and she is awesome. Let me bring her right in. Hey, Amy, what's up with you? How you doing today?
Hey, Ray.
What's up? How was your day?
It was a busy day. I've been working a lot. For some reason, everybody and their dog wants to get divorced this month, and they want to do it right now.
And Lassie wants a divorce from Ring Ting Ting or what? Oh, man, that's cute. I've never heard that one. Everybody and their dog. But that's good business, right? But at the same time, you're not only there to make business, but you're there to help the couple out. And this is where you're not a lawyer.
I'm not a lawyer.
So you're not okay. Well, let's do a scenario here, because a lot of times people, you go to a lawyer, you get a divorce, and boom, you're on your way. Now, that's the scenario that most people think. Me and you just got married. Me and you just got divorced. We just went to the lawyer, and bye, Amy, bye, Ray. Okay, I go my way, you go my way. But now reality hits. We got parents issue. We got financial issues, we got, mortgage issues, we got everything that we used to do together is still part of us, right? Am I right? Is that what you're telling me?
Until the fat lady sings and the divorce has been stamped, yep, all of those things are going to be issues. And of course, the kids are going to be in your life until you die.
Well, yeah. Well, the kids, of course, yeah. But tell me about, for instance, let me show you a picture here. And this one really caught my eye. Here, how do I do this one? All right, here we go. This is a picture that, wow, I saw this, was it 2 days ago or one day that you posted? This picture, consequences of your spouse keeping your marital home without refinancing the mortgage after divorce.
Yes, sir.
So obviously this happens a lot of times if you are talking about it.
Well, yeah, actually, almost all of these posts that I make come out of client questions or issues that I'm dealing with pretty recently. So yes, this one is a really common one. It's a question either that they're asking before they sign the divorce papers, or it's an unfortunate consequence after the divorce is finalized and they realize, oh crap, I can't do what I had expected or am supposed to do now. So yes, refinancing the house is a big deal. Of course, most people who get divorced, if they have any assets, the house is the biggest one that they have.
Right.
Other than retirement plans and other potential investments. So this post had actually 3 potential consequences of your spouse keeping the marital home without refinancing the mortgage. Do you have the other pictures? Do you want to show those?
Oh, yeah. Let me show the other picture. Let's see, which way do I go? I go this way? Okay. Oh, number 1 right there.
Yeah. So here's a big one, right? The debt for the mortgage, if you still owe $200,000 or whatever on your house, and you give your house to your ex and they don't refinance that $200,000 into just their own name, well, especially in the state of Texas, but any community property state,
right.
That mortgage debt is going to stay on your credit report until they refinance it into their own names. And so if you're trying to get another house for yourself, it may be really hard to get a mortgage if you've already got a $200,000 mortgage sitting on your credit report. So
Wow.
Qualifying is an issue.
And so you help them fix that problem if it gets to that, or is it too late already?
Well, I help them figure out what to do beforehand, right? If they can even refinance the mortgage into their own names.
Right.
And I always make sure that they have a certain time period that they have to refinance or sell the property within after the divorce is final. So if they
Right.
work with me during the divorce, then I can help them avoid these risks. If it's after the divorce, usually it's the spouse who gave away the house that comes to me like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
This mortgage is still sitting on my credit report and I can't make them do anything. Well, you can. I mean, if the divorce decree doesn't say anything about how long they have to refinance the house, really, they should have done it immediately upon
Right.
the finalization of the divorce. So if they didn't, then you can take them back to court to make them refinance. Yeah. Or sell the property. So, I mean, that's an expensive thing to do. So
Wow.
it's not fun. And it's not fun, of course. You don't want to take your ex back to court again after going through it in the first place. But it is something that you can rely on if you have to.
Right. So it's an asset to really get to know you and talk to you because you can save them a lot of money. Both parties. Yeah. Both parties.
Even if somebody is contemplating an offer they're about to sign on the dotted line and make it all final, it's a great idea to give me a call and spend an hour with me, just having me look over what the offer is. Right. And offer and recommend things to them about how to address anything in there that might be a risk of not working out the way they intended to. So
they're definitely going to save some money and some worries and headaches and all of that.
Peace of mind at the very least, but almost every single client I've ever worked with has saved money from working with me.
Wow. So it's worth your fee.
I earn my fees back and then some, yes.
Yeah. Wow. No, that's good. Let me see. Number 2. Let's see. Yeah, go ahead.
So if the ex gets to keep the house and keep the mortgage, but they don't pay the mortgage, and you're still on it, then the mortgage company can come after you for that money. And that late payment is going to show up on your credit report, which is going to really hurt your credit score.
Wow. Man.
Those things are very hard to get removed.
Amazing. Yeah, because you don't think about it. You go, okay, boom, boom, boom. You know what? Or a lot of times, I would think that a lot of times, like the man will say, "Well, I'll let her keep the house." I mean, maybe it's the other way around, but that's what I've heard. Most of the time, the man will say, "I'll let her keep the house," and signs the paper, and boom, and then she doesn't pay, so he's the one, that's had the bad credit. And a lot of times, I mean, I guess they figure it out if they check their credit reports. But if they don't check their credit reports, they don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, well, in this case, I mean, the mortgage companies are not quiet. If they don't get their money, they'll be calling you. So you don't have to worry about that too much. But certainly need to be checking your credit report on a regular basis as well to make sure.
Interesting.
And of course, it would require your ex to be cutting off their nose to spite their face, right? If they choose not to pay the mortgage, that's hurting them too. So it's not like it's something that they want to do, but if they have to because they can't afford it, then this could come back and hurt you too.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Number 3.
Yes. This is kind of alluding to a bigger issue that I really try to talk with my clients about a lot, because this is more of that spiritual, energetic connection, that you're still financially tied to each other indefinitely, unless the decree specifies some deadline to refinance or sell the home. But you're still energetically connected to each other in a way that you probably don't want to be if you're getting divorced. Like, I always advise my clients to unwind everything that you possibly can when you split up, so that you're just not connected to each other anymore, because it's the best way to be able to really move on with your life and move onward and upward.
A clean break, as they say, a clean break. And let's see, Hector, good evening. Amy and Royo, good to be here. Thank you, Hector. Hope you're doing well. Hey, also, not even married to get a divorce. Well, take notes. Oh, man. But yeah, this is a topic a lot of people don't talk about. I mean, because who talks about the breakup? Who talks about the divorce? Everybody's talking about love and, forever and that kind of deal. And they don't talk about this. Money issues sometimes they're not talked about. As far as this is concerned, so it's like, wow. Uh, so tell me, now give us a little bit about your background, Amy. What got you interested in this particular field? Because I know you're a CPA, you're coming from the accounting, background and all that, and now you're adding this to it.
Such a great question, Ray. I've had kind of a bizarre path to this work, but it's been unbelievable. I've been a CPA and I was working in the audit and fraud investigation world for a long time, for almost 20 years.
Wow.
And then I got divorced for the first time 13 years ago, and had to start all over with my life, and went through a lot of financial challenges at that point. So, sorry, my daughter won't stop calling me now.
Mom, don't mention my name.
we were just talking about her before the show. Anyway, sorry about that. So, after my first divorce, had a really big financial struggle trying to get back on my feet, and yet still made the decision to marry again, and went through another divorce that ended about 5 years ago.
Wow.
And yes, so it after the second divorce, I was really lost in life and just really didn't know where I wanted to go, and was also really feeling kind of lost in my career too. Never really felt super fulfilled doing just accounting and auditing and fraud investigation. So one random day, about 9 months after my second divorce finalized, in a yoga class, I was in towards the end of class where it's just really relaxing. I just had this almost like a ton of bricks just hit me. Just this message came to me. Somebody spoke and said, Amy, you need to be using your professional expertise to help people through the divorce process. Right. And literally, I just popped open my eyes and bounced out of class, even though it wasn't over yet. Because I was just so excited at this idea. Yeah, it's the perfect quote unquote marriage of my professional and personal experience. And I just really, really love helping people, which is why I do shows like this, to share information. And so it really is just an incredibly career to be able to give people some peace of mind in their divorce process and afterwards, and also be able to save them a lot of money and help them be set up for the future in a bright way, because divorce isn't the end, it's the beginning of something.
It's the beginning of something nice and better and all that, right? But let me ask you this. What things did you learn after your divorce that you wish you had known while going through it? Did you go through all these pitfalls that you're now teaching your clients not to fall into?
So I was the one who kept the house after my first divorce. So fortunately, I didn't have the issue with my ex trying to refinance. He wouldn't have been able to. So I'm glad I didn't give it to him.
Right.
But I would say, actually, one of the interesting things that I learned after my first divorce that I really wish I'd known, I wish my attorney would have said something to me. And this is what I think is really frustrating in the divorce process, is that a lot of people don't get the information that they really need to know from their attorneys, and they're expecting to, because attorneys are not financial experts. They're not tax experts. They're not CPAs, right? They're not fraud investigators. And so they don't know the details of the financials as well as, someone like I would. But I wish that I'd known, for example, that the value of your marital home isn't just a finger in the air. This is what I think it can be in a few years, and I want to benefit from that, even though I'm not staying in the house because I helped you buy it in the negotiation process for divorce. And that's what my ex-husband did to me. Was he was like, well, you're gonna, the house is worth this right now. That's what the appraisal or comp sales show. But in 5 years, when you sell the place, it's going to be worth that. So, I should be able to get some of what that is.
Yeah, of course. Makes sense, right?
Right? Yeah. And what I also didn't know is that you can deduct from the value of your house the expected selling costs, as you know, like realtor fees, which is a lot of money when you sell a house, right? It's like 6 to 7, maybe 8% of the sales price. Well, we didn't deduct that from the value in the house. And what that results in is then he gets all these other assets, you know, my retirement plan and, you know, any investments that we had, because here I'm keeping this asset that has so much, him has so much more value in the marital estate than what it really has. And so to compensate for that, he gets to take more of other assets. So I really wish that I'd known, because I came out of my first divorce with $100,000 of credit card debt that he had racked up while we were married.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
And that was because of the fact that I left with the house when he should have taken half of that debt at least.
You're right. Yeah, you split everything, right? As they say, you know, you split the couch in half, you take half of the couch, and you take the other half of the couch. Yeah, I think there's a movie. Okay, you're gonna get divorced. I guess she starts cutting everything in half.
It reminds me of a Bible story about splitting a baby, right?
Yeah. Hey, Crystal, how's it going? Hope everything is going well up there in Lubbock, and in New Braunfels. And Vantala, how's it going? Love this. Thank you, Congress lady. And of course, here we go. I wish I had an attorney like you. When I got divorced, I didn't feel representative. Well, you want to address that? I mean, I guess you are.
Yeah, and you know what? I would have to say, if I had a nickel for every time I hear that sentence, I would not have to ever work a day in my life again. It is really unfortunate, and I'm so sorry to hear that.
I'll take 2 cents forever. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you think that the lawyer is the final thing that you go through because they're the law, but lawyers know law, CPAs know
money.
finances,
no money.
know money, and really, what's more important, the law or money? I mean, they both are, but money keeps you going and messes you up and gets you in trouble with the law, you know. So, wow, amazing, yeah, wow. So let me ask you another question here. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things, right? You gotta let me throw this one your way here. Hold on, where is it? There we go. See how strong your current relationship with your kids are, you know, or it is. What do you see are some of the important parenting tips and skills for divorced parents? You know, you got a wonderful boy and a wonderful girl, and you know, I mean, they've been through 2 divorces with you, and it's like, you know, how does all that work? And you know, their self-esteem, their trust issues, their love issues, their daddy that, mommy that, and you know, which way do I go? You know, who do I live with? That kind of deal. So how does that come into play from your point of view, or is that just?
Well, I will say we could probably talk about this all week, because that's a big question.
Because I would think that it would be from a lawyer's point. This particular deal would be from a lawyer's point of view.
Well, I mean, you're asking me about skills and tips for parenting.
Yeah, you're
divorce, right? So we could talk about this one for a while. And I will also say that I am not a licensed therapist or social worker, but I am a
Friends
clergy
helping
member.
friends. This is our segment of friends helping friends. One
Yes,
parent,
and
what works for
one
parent helping another parent, so that it may help. You know, it might work.
Perfect. From one successful parent to another.
Yeah.
I do think that I finally figured it out, because I have developed a really good relationship with my kiddos, and I'm really proud of them and our relationship. And it has taken a while. Don't don't think I got it right on the first try. But what I will say is that everybody likes to say that children are resilient and that they can recover after divorce just fine. And I will say that statement is true, but there's a big but there. The but is that those kids need to, one, feel loved by both parents and or caregivers that are responsible for them. And 2, they really need to have an outlet to be able to express the way that they feel about everything. this is a true key to them being able to be successful in life and to be able to process the trauma of going through divorce and be able to move through it and past it and onward and upward, which is why I have that slogan in my business, because I use that statement so much.
Wow. All the way from South America, they're watching this. Hola, mi amor, ¿cómo te va?
Cool.
So, yeah. And so, yeah, keep going.
So I think that it's very, very, very important that parents give their kids an opportunity to speak freely about their feelings, about their parenting and the other parent without judgment and without comment. So this is a really hard thing to do. I will say I'm still not 100% great at it because there are so many moments when I want to respond back to my kids complaining about their dad and be like, yep, he's just a bad person. I'm sorry that I married him and I'm sorry that he's your dad. But I really have to hold that back because
Right.
if I say things like that to them, then they take it to mean that they're bad too because they're half him, right?
Right,
They're half
right.
me, they're half him. So it really is best to try to keep that to yourself and just help them process through those emotions. You know, like my daughter will come to me, she'll be really upset that her stepmom said something to her that hurt her feelings, and
Wow.
she doesn't like her stepmom, and she really doesn't want to be over at her dad's house. And so, you know, giving her an opportunity to speak about how she feels about those things and why she feels that way and what happened almost magically makes the anger go away, and she just feels better and is able to like cope with her life and go back over to their house the next time she's supposed to.
Yeah, that's true because a lot of times the kids are the ones that are wounded in this battle, and they sometimes they are casualties of war and they don't make it. Their self-esteem, their future relationships are messed up. A hatred develops between kid and between child and parents. You don't understand me. You don't know how I feel.
Mhm.
You don't love me, that kind of deal, and sometimes they'll still say it, but you got to be there to hold them and love them, and tell them it's going to be all right, I'm glad that you did say, okay, you want to say, oh man, that guy's the devil, that guy's the worst, he sucks and everything, but you keep it to yourself because
I try.
kids don't need to be hearing that stuff, because let them find out who he is, or let them find out who she is. Not nothing coming from you, nothing negative coming out of you, because that just makes it worse.
You're absolutely right. Let them come to their own conclusions. Kids are really very smart.
Yes, they are.
We get very upset when we're divorced because we always worry that the parent that is talking badly about the other parent is going to brainwash the kids into believing that that parent is a bad parent or not a good person. And I can say with certainty that that is almost never the case. Kids, as they get, I mean, it may be the case immediately, but down the road, they figure it out and they know really what's what. They know who's a good person, and they develop relationships with the people who take the high road.
And that reminds me of a post that you posted of you and your son, it was you and your son sending you a text, something to the thing is like, Mom, I want to spend the rest of the day with me, or I forget what it was, something like that, to where you put, it's like, what teenager wants to spend time with his mom when he can be out with his friends, and it's like,
oh my gosh, great. Yes. This was like, I mean, I could not stop crying when I got this text from him. It was like late Friday night, and he was at his dad's house and he sent me this text. My son is 15. He just turned 15 last weekend. And he said, Mom, can we do something just us next weekend without any of my friends and without anybody else except maybe my sister?
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, I was immediately like, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I'm going to block the whole day and we're going to do so many fun things together.
Wow.
So it was awesome too. We had such a great day when it came.
Wow. No. And that's because he finds security in you. He finds security in the home, in the three of you, because he mentioned, his sister. He mentioned his sister, he mentioned you. And so that he finds his security at home, which means you did a great job. You did a great job, and you're
Thank you.
holding that house together, and it's like your home, is wealth, and so that means a lot, because these kids, he's gonna grow up, he's gonna be somebody's husband, and your
That's
daughter's
right.
gonna grow up and be somebody's wife, and they can't go out there with issues. And that's why there's a lot of divorces, out there sometimes, and so, well, it takes two to tango, as they say, but I mean, let's be the one that dances the right way.
Amen. I agree.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's take it to another question here.
Sure.
Now, this one is about the income taxes, and we're coming to income taxes here. Taxes. The tax day is what, April 15th. I don't know if they're extended this year or not, but everybody better get.
Don't put that in the universe.
Well, your friend Biden called me that he was going to explain.
My friend.
No, but okay. What are some of the considerations people should think through before settling their estate division? As far as taxes is concerned.
It's funny. I sent you this question as a suggestion a couple of weeks ago, but yesterday had a conversation with a client right about this, because this one client said the same thing that I've heard umpteen bazillion times, that I think is so important to really think through. She was adamant that she wanted to keep her retirement plan intact. She did not want to give up any of her IRA or her 401k that she'd been saving for, because she'd been putting so much money in it for so many years. She didn't want to give up her retirement. She wanted to retire at a reasonable age. And here they have all these other assets in their estate, but the retirement plan is the one she really, really wants to keep. Well, guess what? Every penny that you take out of your retirement plan, when you take it out, is taxed at your normal income tax rate. And if you take any of it out before you turn 59 and a half, you have to pay an extra 10% penalty on that.
Wow.
Unless it's within the first year after divorce, because then Uncle Sam is a little bit kinder to you, thinking that you might need that money if you need it to live on for a little while. But anytime after that first year after divorce until you're 59 and a half years old, you're going to pay a lot of money in taxes in that. Whereas the equity in your house, or the cash that's in your savings account, has no tax. I mean, the house equity is going to have a capital gains tax.
Oh, I see where you're going with that.
If you have more than $500,000 of profit, meaning the price you paid and the price you sell it for has more than a $500,000 gap, if there's two of you owning it, $250,000 if there's only one of you owning it, then okay, then you might pay some capital gains, but at least you get a $250,000 free pass. So you get $250,000 for free. If you took $250,000 from your retirement plan, you're going to pay taxes on every penny of that $250,000, because the benefit was when you put the money into it, right? It helps so much. It's great to put as much money as you possibly can into your 401k every year when you're earning your money, because that helps to lower your income tax that year when you put it in. That's the only time you get the benefit, unless it's a Roth. Okay, there's all kind of caveats here. I could probably talk forever about all these different.
No, definitely do.
Roth IRAs and 401ks are not what I'm referring to, but all other types of retirement plans are going to have tax consequences, and big ones. So why would you want to protect this retirement asset that has no, that has not nearly the benefit?
Because I've worked for it all my life, and that's a misconception. And this is where your expertise come in and say, hey, listen, baby, or listen, ma'am, or listen, client, keep the house, or go the other way. You're going to lose a little bit of that, but you're going to make more on this side. And wow, it makes a lot of sense.
Even if you keep a stock investment over a retirement plan, it's better, because the stock investment, you're only going to pay tax on the difference between what you purchased and sold for. But your retirement plan, the whole thing.
Wow. Amazing. I would have thought, well, it's mine. So, wow. Hey, guys, that's why it pays to look, to see these shows that bring you the information you need so that you can help somebody else. One of your friends is going through a divorce. Hey, get them in touch with Amy, or you yourself might be going through a divorce. Hey, get in touch with Amy because you're going to save money in the long run. And I mean, it's worth the fee, man. It's worth the fee. Plus,
Thank you.
all the problems that arises from that. Bad credit, and I mean, oh man, so much.
There's
Yeah,
a lot of risks if you don't consult a professional in the divorce process before you sign the paperwork.
wow. So let me take you. I mean, we're just flying through these questions here. So let me tell you, what's your favorite service you provide your clients?
Well,
how many services do you provide? First of all,
so I have a few different service lines. One is I can represent one client when they're considering an offer or need to have help filling out the attorney's forms with the asset inventory, or if they need just, I had a client conversation today with a lady who was considering an offer that her husband had made for her for their divorce and wanted to know what I thought about it. We talked about what her job situation is, how much money does she make, how much money does she need to live on, So she was asking me, should I try to keep the house, or do we need to sell it? Should I take the cash and buy another house? Can I qualify for a mortgage if I do that? And, how does that look in the mix of assets? So we had a really great conversation today, and she was so grateful to be able to have that brief. I mean, it was just an hour. 1 hour of my time was enough for her to be able to know where to go next with her mediation with her husband.
You set her straight. You set her on the right path.
I did, yeah. And I saved her thousands and thousands of dollars and a lot of headache, because what she was wanting to do was going to put her in a situation where she would be living in her car. So,
wow.
Yeah. So
you took her from homeless to a nice house.
Yeah.
Oh, no
yeah,
way.
I mean, she was ready. She doesn't make very much money, and she was wanting to keep the house.
Right.
So all of her money, all of her assets would be tied up in this completely illiquid asset that you can't get any money out of to pay your living expenses. So they would take the house from her, and then she would not have anything left. Yeah, so that was a really beneficial service. And obviously there are lots of different scenarios that I help people with when I represent one client. I also, the second line of business that I have is essentially mediation. I don't really call it mediation because I'm not a licensed mediator, but I'm really better than that, because I'm able to help them compile and value everything in their marital estate, and also look at child support, alimony, tax status, and even child custody arrangements, because we need to talk about that stuff if there are children involved, and figure out who's going to be living where when, so we have a better idea of what the cost is going to be for those things for each person.
Awesome.
And in that process, then I'm looking at both parties, both of them, to help them come up with a good deal that results in setting everybody up for success in the future, as opposed to just one of them, advocating for one. This saves them thousands of dollars in attorney fees, and oftentimes has much better outcomes, because like I mentioned before, the attorneys don't really understand the ins and outs of that financial detail. And I get in there and get dirty and really understand all of the numbers and how they would shake out. So I split everything up, calculate, their budgets for life after divorce, to be able to see who can afford to pay for what, mortgage or child support, alimony, all those things. And then they have a nice little package to send off to the attorneys to write up the divorce decree and help them get it stamped and signed by a judge, so that they can have it official and move on. So that's a really great service line. And then the third service line that I offer, this one's much more complex, and it's only for certain types of cases, but I am an expert witness, and I can do fraud investigation when one spouse believes that the other spouse is hiding assets. And I can do separate property tracing when they believe that they have money that they came into the with, or that they inherited and should not be considered part of their marital estate, and need to prove it because their soon-to-be ex doesn't just accept the amount that they're suggesting is separate. So
Wow.
Those are really significant time consuming exercises, but I can do that in a way that is much more affordable to the middle and upper middle class folks, as opposed to like the big CPA firms that do that work that will charge, you know, $50,000 to $100,000 for a project like that. Whereas for me, it probably costs somewhere closer to 10.
Right. Wow. And let me ask you this. Do people that come together, you know, to you, they, you know, Mr. and Mrs., they're going to get divorced, but they come to you. Do you find that if you work with them and they follow your advice and all of that, that they become better? I mean, that they stay friends and they have better relationship with their kids and their kids have better relationships with them. In other words, do they become a happier divorce family, or I don't know how you would call that, but do you find that they're happier, you know, that everything goes a whole lot better than normal? Where they get along, they just don't, they're not in love, they don't like each other together, but they respect each other and they work well with each other and kids are well adjusted.
Yes. Now I think that they probably are already more inclined to be in you know, in that space and behave that way if they come to me willing to negotiate that way. But yes, I do think that because of the way that I particularly like to do my mediation style projects, I am a very open, transparent person. And I don't like this traditional mediation style where one person and their attorney sits in a room and the other spouse and their attorney sits in a room and they go back and forth with the mediator making offers. It's very hush hush. It's very quiet and private. And I would rather have both spouses hear the same thing from me at the same time. It's all a very transparent, honest process. And that way everyone feels a lot more trust in me and in the situation and in each other, so that everyone feels confident that they got a good deal and that they all know all of the same information. Because I think it's the suspicion of hiding things that makes people not trust each other and end up assuming the worst, which is not wise. That always ends up in an unpleasant result. So
well, once you get lawyers involved, it's like, you know, there's you know, there's no trust there sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Or most of the time, you know, because it's a battle in the battle. And so when they come together and willing to work it out and willing to work for what's going to be a better future, and maybe for the kids and, you know, for the future of the kids and the future of each other, then definitely it's going to be a plus. It's a win-win.
I agree. That's the goal, is a win-win. Wow. It doesn't always work out that way, because there are still times when one spouse really just wanted something that was not reasonable, and it requires some effort on my part to help them understand that what they're asking for isn't reasonable.
Just let it go, man. Just let it go.
Yeah, and it's hard, you know, they carry resentment and it's usually not even about the money. There's usually some emotional event that happened that is really what's behind it. So that's where I have to put my clergy hat on and try to help them get to the bottom of the emotions so that they can move those away and think more rationally about the money.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because, you know, you also marry people.
I'm also what?
You also marry people, right?
I marry people. Yes, I see them at both ends of marriage.
I mean, you're bringing into the world of marriage, and you see them out of the world of marriage. Oh, well, amazing. You know, and so, you know, this is really cool, because you come in from both sides, and you approach it from I would say that you approach it from an area of love. You know, what's best, you know, hey, you know what, you know, you loved her, he loved you, you know, hey, so you don't love each other, but, you know, for the love of the kids, you know, let's move forward in love, and, you know, boom, 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 and let's keep going. I mean,
yes, I have had a whole bunch of consultations with potential clients who have not made the decision yet that they want to get a divorce, but they want to have their ducks in a row in case they do. And so Oftentimes, and I think that's great. I really highly encourage people to talk to me before they even tell their spouse that they want a divorce, because I can help them figure out a whole lot of things that will save them a lot of money and time. And frankly, marriage is going to end in one way or another, either in death or divorce. So it's good to have the same information and access to information either way.
Wow.
I know that's a morbid thought, but it is important, you know.
So couples that are happily married should go see you anyway. Just to have it on their
Yeah, I
back
mean, I
door.
can give them a lot of great financial advice about how to stay married and stay connected in the financial space, you know, because it is the number one cause of divorce, right? Money.
Right.
It is
Yeah, that's
such
true.
a bone of contention for people, but it
Wow.
doesn't have to be, you know, it really doesn't have to be. So I counsel people when I get them married. I do a lot of discussion about handling finances, among other things, of course, in
Right.
the premarital counseling process. And I also have helped people get post-nuptial agreements together when they're not quite ready to go down the divorce path, but want to make sure that their assets are protected in case they do at some point. Because getting those kinds of anxieties out of the way sometimes can help them stay married, because they can focus on, the things that they love about each other instead of the things they're fighting about. But yeah, like you say, it's really putting love out into the world can only do good things. So when I talk to clients who are considering divorce, almost every time I will tell them, I hope that I don't talk to you again, right? I hope that you don't need me again, and that this is the only conversation that we need to have. And it's true. I really mean that, because I don't wish divorce on my worst enemy. Well, maybe on my worst enemy, but that's about it.
That's about it, right? So it's a matter of onward and upward.
That's right.
Moving forward.
No matter which direction, it's always onward and upward.
And I think this comes to mind. Make deposits in the emotional bank account of the people in your life who provide the greatest returns in your investment. And I know that sounds very, very, very financial, but it's true. It's so true. The more
that's my quote. So I mean, I'm a CPA, and I posted that on Valentine's Day, because my business is all about divorce, and instead of people wallowing in self-pity and feeling so sad about losing their significant other, it's more about making deposits into spending time with the people who really benefit you. And we're only on this planet for such a short time. Wasting it wallowing about the loss of something that already was is not worth it. It's much better to invest in the people who love you.
Well, let me share this other picture with everybody here. The average divorce in the United States costs between $13,000 and $15,000, with the vast majority of that cost in attorney's fees. Working with you typically cuts that in half and results in better outcomes. Oh my goodness! Hey, that alone already. Hey, Well, no, but it's true. I mean, because it's not cheap to get a divorce. Some people just think, hey, you go to a lawyer and get it. No, but he's going to charge you, and so and you're just going to the lawyer. You're gonna lose.
Nobody wins in divorce but the attorneys. That's one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite attorney colleagues. Yeah, I adore her. She's right. That is true. Nobody wins in divorce but the attorneys. They each get their $5,000 or $10,000 retainer fees
up front.
To get started.
Up front, just to start. And this is your logo. I love your logo. Is that the Phoenix or?
That's the Phoenix. Yep. And there's my onward and upward in picture form.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Rising from the ashes. That was just the perfect.
Wow.
Picture for me.
That would be good if we do this right there. And it fits it right in there. So yeah. Wow. Let's see. What other picture do we have here? I have. Oh wow. I forgot I had pictures of a model. What movie was she on? I don't know. What movie was this? It was this artist with this movie star in.
You're very sweet, Ray. Thank you. That picture was taken 13 years ago, about a month after my first divorce finalized, when I was like, okay, I'm back out into the dating world and I need to feel sexy and have fun. So I went and got glamour shots.
And it looks great. As you can tell, I cropped some of these pictures and added light and moved them around and all that. And it's like even with this, I did a little bit of poetic in there, and but it makes sense, right? So you have that picture. Let's see. There's we did these already. Let me go back here. I thought there was another one here. No, not this. Oh, there it is. This is you and your son, and good looking boy. He's 15, or how old is he there? 14 or?
Yeah, that picture was taken in October when we were in South Africa for my brother's wedding, which I officiated.
Wow. Oh, okay. So that's the reason why you went to Africa then. Okay. So, wow. This is so cool. And I think, I don't know if there's some more pictures here. We saw that one already. And of course, that's the show one. So, yeah. Wow. Amazing. Amy, man, what can I say? This has been really insightful, very useful. Uh, what can I? Man, and let's see who's still up here. Vangela was up there, and Vangela had this. I wish I had an attorney like you. And when I got divorced, I didn't feel represented. And I know, Vangela, you got any other comments? Are you still watching? Crystal, any comments from Crystal out there in New Braunfels? But yeah. Now, how hard is it to get in touch with you?
Well, I make myself very accessible. I have my Adler Divorce Financial Facebook page where you can send a message. I also have the @YourDivorceAsset Instagram page, or you can email me at amy@yourdivorceasset.com. And it's singular asset because I'm the asset. I am your divorce asset. That's where that comes from. Or you can go to https://yourdivorceasset.com.
Wow.
And you can read all about me and the different services that I offer. And you can send an email through the Contact Us page on that site. That's probably the best way to reach me, because then you can send a detailed message about what it is that your situation looks like. And we can reach out that way to schedule a free 30-minute consultation phone call.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I was trying to get to your website here. It's called, what is it?
I think it says onward and upward on the main page.
Is it okay? Hold on. What is it? Where am I? I'm trying to get in there. Okay, here we go. And no, that's not you. I don't know where I'm at. Anyway, go ahead and put it on the private chat, and I'll put it on the comment, or put it on the comment. You can put it on the comment and it'll be there. But yeah, wow.
I don't see an option for me to type in the comments, but I can do it on the private chat.
On the private chat, yeah, it'll be there. Cool. Let me open it up and then I copy and paste and take it in there. So yeah.
Yeah.
Here it is. Awesome. Good. Let me put this on a banner. I don't know why I didn't have it, or I think I did. So let me put this on the banner. This is where you can get a hold of her. I'm gonna put that itself on a comment. Hold on. Here we go. On a comment. Here we go. And so people can see this. There it is. You can see it. There it is. It's going to appear like this. So that's there. And I want it to go here. And I'm going to show them your web page.
Awesome.
and that way we can kind of go through it. And yeah, there it is. Yeah, you're right. It does say, oop, yeah, there we go. All right. So what did I do? What did I do? I send it over here. Dun, dun, dun. So let me share this. Dun, dun, dun. And there we go. So here is the web page. Let me take this out. And so here we go. It says onward and upward. And there is her bio, or a little bit about her. And of course, you can see this is her. And of
Same
course,
face.
yeah, this is her. This was after one of her many movies. And of course, she also sings, guys. She also sings.
I do sing too. That's right.
Yeah, yeah, she also sings. And so there's her services, and benefits for service and all of that. You can go right through that, and you can subscribe, and that is, there's services here. Okay, let me go through the services here.
Yeah, there's more details on that page.
Yeah, look at that. Reduce stress of the divorce process. Reduce attorney fees, court costs. I mean, all of these are just pluses, man. Oh man, there's more. Budget for the future, the properties, yeah, how the property is separated, the post-divorce counseling, expert witness. What's that about?
I have to testify in court sometimes about the fraud investigation, separate property, any of that kind of stuff.
Wow. Okay, that makes sense.
I don't like it though. I don't like court at all, so I put it really small at the bottom.
Right, and then here we go. Here's your family, beautiful kids.
Thank you. Although that photo is years old now, unfortunately.
And there's that movie star again. All right, and so you deal with divorce, and okay, and here's the contact information. Oh, this is for you guys to sign in, and you'll get. I'm sure if you signed in, she'll get in touch with you immediately. So, guys, I was thinking of George from the Men's Warehouse. I'm not only a client, but
isn't that the Rogaine commercial?
or that one too. It's like, but George from Dallas used to use that for the men's shop or the men's store. Where he would wear his own suits. It's like, so you've been through divorce, so you know what you're talking to. It's not like you're talking to somebody that's never been to divorce or whatever, and so you're bringing stuff that you've been through and where you wish you had this information that maybe you didn't use because you didn't think about it. Because sometimes, even though we have the information, somehow when it comes down to it, we don't use it or we don't think about it. And then you go later, oh man, I should have done that. I knew better. Why didn't I? And this way you get everybody in focus. And most of the time in divorces, somebody loses. Somebody always loses in a divorce.
Everybody loses in divorce.
Well, yeah, but sometimes there's,
sometimes there's a much worse loss than there had to be.
Yeah. That's so true. And so, wow, this is so great. Man, I think everybody's like, just wow, because sometimes that happens when I don't get too many comments. It's because everybody's just there, tuned in like this, and later on I go, all these likes come in and everything, because they don't want to interrupt the show with comments. That's what I've noticed, and so so it's so cool. Well, great. Any final words, Amy?
Gosh, I don't have anything specific. I really enjoyed this though, Ray. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share information and hang with you a little bit on this Sunday evening.
We need to do these more often. You know what? This might be something that maybe we can do maybe once a month or maybe once every 6 weeks or something like that, because I think something like this is worth it's worth the information. People need to know this stuff, or just I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of maybe inviting Evangela as one of my co-hosts for these. Because me and Evangela, we want to, or we want to start doing some stuff together. Actually, Evangela ran for Congress, and now we're doing some talk
Oh,
shows
really?
together. Yeah, yeah, and so that would be so cool. Because it empowers women, but it also empowers the whole family, really. Because I mean, when kids are go through a peaceful divorce, they pretty much have a happier life. And like you said, nobody wins. The kids especially are the casualties of war, and it shouldn't be. And the parents are not thinking that they're going to be harmed, but yet they are. You know. Um,
Of course. Yeah. And, we parents do the very best we can, but
yeah. And
in
so
a
unfortunately, yeah,
really painful divorce situation, it's really hard to be present with the kids at the same time.
yeah, yeah. And well, let me ask you this. Yeah, I mean, in the case of a very painful relationship where there was, I don't know, whatever it might be, uh, have you dealt with any of those?
Have I dealt with any of what exactly?
Like really painful divorces where I don't know. I mean, people divorce for very different reasons. Maybe when somebody cheated on the other, or maybe there was, I
Dude,
don't
I've
know,
got all kinds of great stories that will
maybe
make all of us
drugs,
feel so much.
alcoholic, wife beater, husband getting beat up by the wife. I mean, it's not unusual. But what's the ugliest type of divorce that you've seen? I mean, no names, but I mean, so that people kind of get an idea as to, okay, what was the ugly and how did you fix it, and what was the outcome? Or maybe there wasn't an outcome. Was there a win?
So the two ugliest cases that I have are still ongoing. I mean, so by the way, I have had so many discussions with so many people going through divorce that would make all of us feel so much better about our own lives. That it's crazy. But the two that come to mind, one is the divorce situation started a few years ago when the husband drugged his wife and hired a doctor to remove all of her teeth. And he did that out of revenge for catching him in some fraudulent activity.
Wow.
And that was just the start. The whole situation has been quite entertaining. Yes.
That sounds like some mafia stuff, man.
Well, it's kind of what it's like. Yeah. Kind of.
Cartel or something. Oh, man.
That one, yes. So that one and that situation, the door is not closed yet, so I really can't share a whole lot.
Right. No, well, I think you showed us a good trailer to that movie.
Yeah, I was going to say this is actually the kind of story that may end up on Netflix in a few years.
Yeah, or a book.
The other one is also a really interesting story that is still an ongoing case as well. The husband is my client. He is a retired CPA and had owned his own firm, and he and his wife and their two children had this big family trust that his wife was managing all the money in because she has a master's degree in economics from New York University. So very bright lady. Came to him right around the same time, actually, as my other client started their divorce in 2019. And she told him that she wanted a divorce and that it was because she had fallen in love with her lover who was overseas, and she was going to leaving to go be with him. And he turned out to be a Nigerian scammer who managed to swindle her out of $6 million.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Swindle her, which actually ended up being swindling all four of them, right? Her and her husband and their two children out of $6 million from their
Yeah, because you hit the family fund, you're gonna hit everybody. Wow,
right.
wow, and obviously he wanted out of that one, protect his kids.
Well, yeah. I mean, he really wanted to protect himself. He's retired. He's not working anymore. He,
Yeah.
hasn't been for many years and really needed that money to live on, until until he passed away and left the rest of it to his kids. So that was a fascinating story for sure. Those are the two most significant situations that were pretty severe.
So you deal with high-end clients, in between, somewhere in there, a little bit of everything. So it's like that must have been a pretty good fee. Because you charge on a percentage or
I have an hourly rate. I work similarly to an attorney. I ask for a retainer up front, but I just bill my hourly rate against that retainer.
Right.
And then once it runs out, then I bill on a monthly basis after that for the hours that I work.
Yeah, so. And obviously the more assets they have and more complications they have, of course, the more hours you're going to spend on the case, because
there's that. And sometimes the more hand holding the clients need to, then it ends up being more my time as well. Like if they need more explanation about what does this mean, or they need me to write things up in a certain way for them, or even if they want me to attend a hearing or mediation for them to help just guide them, then the fees vary just really depending on what each client individually needs. And I just try to really customize my service to what exactly they need in order to move on, rather than, throw a bunch of things at them that they already figured out on their own.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Well, man, that's great. That's great to know that there's people that actually do this, because I had no idea. It's like
there's not very many, Ray. I am the only one in the Austin area that does this work. I'm the only CPA, at least in the Austin area, that does this work, and I have not met anyone else.
And how many people in Texas do this?
Well, there are quite a few CDFAs, who are the Certified Divorce Financial Analysts, throughout the state of Texas. Most CDFAs are actually financial advisors that work for investment firms. And they do that because, they're really well equipped to help people value and divide their marital estates. So, and then they like to invest that money for one of the spouses or both of the spouses going forward as their client, which is why they do that work. I, on the other hand, because I'm done when they finish their divorce with me, I'm operating much more as an independent third party, because I don't have any vested interest in the outcome of their divorce other than seeing them both happy and set. I don't even do taxes. I don't file taxes for people. So a lot of them ask me.
Right. That's fine.
A lot of them ask me if I'll take on their tax returns after the divorce is final. And I'm like, nope, I'll teach you how to do it yourself if you want to, but I'm not going to do your taxes.
Right. So yeah, there's no benefit other than the fee for you then, where somebody else, there might be some hidden agendas or stuff like that. So there's a level of trust that's with you.
Right.
You're there just to make sure they have a good outcome.
And as a CPA and a fraud examiner, I'm able to do a little bit more services for them if they have more complicated stuff.
Wow. Well, Amy, this was great again. Awesome. Thank you for agreeing to do the show. I think this would be one of those shows that it's going to be a lot of people are going to see. I'm sure a lot of women are going to see this. A lot of men are going to see this. Let me ask you, with that in mind, who's your number one client, women or men?
You know what? That's a good question. Right now, I think it's pretty evenly split.
Wow.
Maybe slightly more women than men, but really mostly pretty evenly split right now.
So, hey, get with Angela if you're thinking of getting a divorce. And if you're not thinking of getting a divorce, get with Angela so that you can, what is it that you said? So you can plan your finances. Am I right? Did I say that correctly?
You mean if you're thinking about it and not doing it yet?
Yeah, or that too, right?
To get with Amy. Yeah, if you're going to get married, or if you're thinking about a divorce, or if you're going through divorce, those are great opportunities. Or if you've already been divorced and not really sure what to do now. You can contact me for any of those reasons, and I'm happy to either refer you to good resources to help you move forward, or to help however I can myself.
Wow. Well, great. And you're in the Austin area, so you're centralized here in Texas, and I'm sure
I
you'll
work
take
nationwide, though.
all over the nation.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to start the music now. And Amy, it was a pleasure. I'm going to pull you out, and we'll be backstage. I'll meet you in a little bit.
Thanks again, Ray. This was fun.
Yeah. So, guys, this is Royal with Talkshow Central RTV Style. We had an awesome show, guys. It's going to be great. I have a great week coming up. Let's see what's going on. Tuesday, we have card tips with Sharky. On Thursday, I have Erica, Renee Tejano Diva coming in. And on Sunday, I have my friend from, I forget, Guatemala coming in. Melin is coming in on Sunday, guys. And then we start the week again. I think the following Tuesday we have, we're going to do a big show with Vanzilla, hopefully. And we're going to talk about bad tapes, guys. Anyway, we'll see you guys. Have an awesome time. And bye-bye.